Hey, I use these podcasts quite a bit in school to do reviews with my students and cover supplementary stuff. So I thought I'd try to amend the format a little bit and send you a little podcast about records. I've been thinking about these records and I've decided I don't want to do eBay and I don't want to do a record show. For me, it's a quality of life issue and I don't have the desire to deal in records. I like to play with them, but not deal with them. So I thought I might make a deal with you if you want to. It'll take me a while because I don't have time to process things very quickly right now. I've been trying to listen to an album a day, and this weekend, yesterday and today, I listened to two albums each day, but that's still a snail's pace. What I would envision down the road maybe is a deal in which, like, whatever you pay me, you can make at least that as a profit. You might hit it big and make more, and if you do, great. I'm going to keep what I want, but I find that what I'm keeping is not necessarily the higher end stuff. So you can think about it, and we can discuss the details later. For now, I want to show you 5 albums. These are higher end things, things that are $50 and above in the book price. There aren't a lot of them. And the first 2 I'm going to show you are, to me, eye poppers because of the condition of the vinyl. The vinyl on this one is amazing. I've never seen a record of this age with flawless vinyl before, but the vinyl here is pristine. The front cover is also pristine except for the little numbered tag in the upper left. Every record in this batch has one of those, and it's always in the upper left. The photograph makes the color look washed out on the left, but that's because of the light. The color of the entire cover is actually what you see in like the upper right quadrant. It's perfect except for the tag. Now the back is a slightly different story. On every back cover, the fellow printed his name, H.M. Whitmack. Sometimes, as in this case, there's a one-line indication of where and when the thing was purchased. This one, for example, says Jenny, his wife, bought this Saturday, April 8th, 1972, which makes you wonder where she was in 1972 to find this. These were 2 record people. It seems like every Christmas and birthday they got each other records, and he made a note of that. But it's never more than one line. So I don't know how that affects the near mint status. Also on this one, there's an almost faded stamp in the lower left, and it seems to be a stamp from a record store. That's an anomaly. Most of these records don't have that. This album lists for $60 in near mint condition. And if we're talking vinyl, this is certainly that. This one is also listed at $60. Again, the vinyl is beautiful, as pristine as can be. The cover's perfect, except for that numbered tag in the upper left. Now, I don't plan to keep either one of these albums. I have the complete Lester Young on Verve in a 7 CD set. I got it out of Joe Boughton's collection when Joe died. So I already have the music. And Lester Young's best years were not his Verve years. He did a few good tracks, but he's at his best when he's playing a couple of choruses in the middle of a bassy arrangement, I think. This one is also listed at $60. This is an original Clef. I know from researching Ella for an article some years ago that Norman Granz established Verve in 1956, and then he sold the label to MGM in 1966. So anything Clef or Norgran is pre-1956, though mostly he reissued the Clef and Norgran stuff on Verve with a different number, usually the same covers, but different numbers. This one is 1955, I think. Again, the vinyl is great. This is a light cover, so if you look close, you can see a little bit of finger wear. It's very good, but not new. And so I don't know whether near mint refers to vinyl or to the cover also. You probably know that. Here's an original Norgran with a David Stone Martin cover. This one lists for $100 in the book, but that's in near mint condition, and this isn't near mint. It's good, but the others are flawless. And you can see the cover's pretty good, but it's got a little tape around the bottom and at the top. I've played this album all the way through and digitized 5 tracks. It plays really well. It has a little fry in a few spots and one little tick on one cut for about 4 or 5 revolutions. You can't see those things. There is, however, a blemish of about an inch on one side. I don't know how to describe it. It's not a scratch and it's not exactly a scuff, but it's some kind of blemish that you can see with the naked eye. It doesn't affect the play at all. It's as clean as the high-end stuff you see at Joe's. It's an okay album musically, except for 2 tracks, which are long drum solos that drive me nuts. Here's one more I'll show you. This one is one of many Jazz Tone albums. Dad told me that Jazz Tone was a mail-order label in the mid and late 50s. He subscribed to it briefly but didn't have the money to keep it up. I read on the internet that Jazz Tone only operated for 3 years in this country but is still operating in Europe. Some of the Jazz Tone recordings are original and made by that company, and others are reissues from other labels. This one surprised me. It's listed at $60 in the book, but it's a reissue of tracks from 3 or 4 Elliott Lawrence albums from the mid-50s on Fantasy. 4 arrangers are featured, and I had all these except the 3 Johnny Mandel arrangements. So I digitized those. The vinyl is pristine, and it played like a dream. I'm still finding stuff down there, but I don't think there's much more in the $50 and up range. But all these I'm planning to unload. I don't know how much. I was thinking maybe a 10th or an 8th of the book price. If you paid me 6 or 7 for the high-end stuff, surely you could sell them for 15. You might hit it big and sell a couple for 40 or 50, especially if you did a record show. I've got a ton of $20 to $30 albums. If you aren't hospitalized with acute boredom after watching this, one of these days, maybe I'll make another one and show you some of the mid-range stuff. So think about it, stay in touch, and I'll talk to you soon.